Why scales are creating problems for steel mills. After continuous casting, the hot steel reaches the cutting position and is cut with an oxygen torch. After cutting the steel, it becomes a billet, bloom, or slab. Each individual piece of steel is marked with a heat number for tracking. A marking solution many steel mills use is hot spray marking. Large heat numbers are marked on each billet, bloom, or slab. The marking is made directly on the steel at the cooling bed just after the cutting process. The common challenge steel mills have with hot spray marking systems is scales. Scales are continuously forming during the cooling process and make the heat number deteriorating and finally falling off the steel. Meet Bob. Bob is a yard manager in a steel mill. He is responsible for inventory and feeding the rolling mill with billets, blooms, or slabs. He relies on heat numbers when doing inventory and sending steel to the reheat furnace. Bob's worst nightmare is mixing up different heat numbers on the yard when loading steel to the reheat furnace. A common reason for mixing up steel is that they cannot recognize or read the heat numbers that are marked onto the steel when trying to load steel from the yard into the reheat furnace. Bob and his team have to spend time identifying steel in the yard. Worst case, they have to scrap steel if they can't read the heat number before sending the steel to the reheat furnace. To scrap steel is both costly and also increases CO2 emission. Do you experience this kind of problem? Visit our website www.refine-labels.com and learn more about how we can make your steel tracking better and more reliable.